The final plot. 3 months had elapsed. Georges Duroy's divorce had been obtained. His wife had resumed the name of Forestier. As the Walters were going to Trouville on the 15th of July, they decided to spend a day in the country before starting. The day chosen was Thursday, and they set out at 9 o'clock in the morning in a large 6-seated carriage drawn by 4 horses. They were going to lunch at Saint-Germain. Bel-Ami had requested that he might be the only young man in the party, for he could not bear the presence of the Marquis de Cazolles. At the last moment, however, it was decided that Comte de la Tour-Yvelin should go, for he and Rose had been betrothed a month. The day was delightful. Georges, who was very pale, gazed at Suzanne as they sat in the carriage, and their eyes met. Madame Walter was contented and happy. The luncheon was a long and merry one. Before leaving for Paris, Duroy proposed a walk on the terrace. They stopped on the way to admire the view. As they passed on, Georges and Suzanne lingered behind. The former whispered softly, "Suzanne, I love you madly." She whispered in return, "I love you too, Bel-Ami." He continued, "If I cannot have you for my wife, I shall leave the country." She replied, "Ask Papa, perhaps he will consent." He answered impatiently, "No, I repeat that it is useless. The door of the house would be closed against me. I would lose my position on the journal, and we would not even meet. Those are the consequences a formal proposal would produce. They have promised you to the Marquis de Cazolles. They hope you will finally say yes, and they are waiting. What can we do? Have you the courage to brave your father and mother for my sake?" "Yes, truly, yes." "Well, there is only one way. It must come from you and not from me. You are an indulged child. They let you say anything and are not surprised at any audacity on your part. Listen then. This evening, on returning home, go to your mother first and tell her that you want to marry me. She will be very much agitated and very angry." Suzanne interrupted him. "Oh, Mamma would be glad." He replied quickly, "No, no, you do not know her. She will be more vexed than your father. But you must insist. You must not yield. You must repeat that you will marry me and me alone. Will you do so?" "I will." "And on leaving your mother, repeat the same thing to your father very decidedly." "Well, and then?" "And then matters will reach a climax. If you are determined to be my wife, my dear, dear little Suzanne, I will elope with you." She clapped her hands as all the charming adventures in the romances she had read occurred to her, and cried, "Oh, what bliss! When will you elope with me?" He whispered very low, "Tonight." "Where shall we go?" "That is my secret. Think well of what you are doing. Remember that after that flight you must become my wife. It is the only means, but it is dangerous. shall I meet you?" "Meet me about midnight in the Place de la Concorde." "I will be there." He clasped her hand. "Oh, how I love you! How brave and good you are! Then you do not want to marry Marquis de Cazolles?" "Oh, no." Madame Walter, turning her head, called out: "Come, little one, what are you and Bel-Ami doing?" They rejoined the others and returned by way of Chatou. When the carriage arrived at the door of the mansion, Madame Walter pressed Georges to dine with them, but he refused and returned home to look over his papers and destroy any compromising letters. Then he repaired in a cab with feverish haste to the place of meeting. He waited there some time, and thinking his lady-love had played him false, he was about to drive off, when a gentle voice whispered at the door of his cab: "Are you there, Bel-Ami?" "Is it you, Suzanne?" "Yes." "Ah, get in." She entered the cab, and he bade the cabman drive on. He asked, "Well, how did it all pass off?" She murmured faintly, "Oh, it was terrible, with Mamma especially." "Your Mamma, what did she say? Tell me." "Oh, it was frightful. I entered her room and made the little speech I had prepared. She turned pale and cried, 'Never!' I wept, I protested that I would marry only you. She was like a madwoman. She vowed I should be sent to a convent. I never saw her like that, never." Papa, hearing her agitated words, entered. He was not as angry as she was, but he said you were not a suitable match for me. As they had vexed me, I talked louder than they, and Papa, with a dramatic air, bade me leave the room. That decided me to fly with you, and here I am. Where shall we go?" He replied, encircling her waist with his arm: "It is too late to take the train. This cab will take us to Sèvres, where we can spend the night, and tomorrow we will leave for La Roche-Guyon. It is a pretty village on the banks of the Seine, between Mantes and Bonnières." The cab rolled on. Georges took the young girl's hand and kissed it respectfully. He did not know what to say to her, being unaccustomed to platonic affection. Suddenly he perceived that she was weeping. He asked in a fright, "What ails you, my dear little one?" She replied tearfully, "I was thinking that poor Mamma could not sleep. If she